Welcome to the 3D tutorial design for elementary Sketchup. Here I am telling you a story on how to put a 3D model together for the first year, first semester landscape architecture students of the University of Maryland. Welcome again. Thank you. The infographics are intended for the first year, first semester landscape architecture students of the University of Maryland who are not familiar with SketchUp and the elements how to create a 3D model, as well as for instructors who can use this infographic in the video portion format or as well as a printout. I have created it in an interactive manner where everyone has something for themselves to use it to their own ideal needs. The sub-audience can be anybody who loves to do digital work, 3D modeling in SketchUp, but the focus is primarily for the landscape architecture students at the University of Maryland who are here for their first semester. Both infographics just show the elementary and truncated version of the instruction. More elaborations and resources I found online or on sketchucation.com or the SketchUp website. For my first infographic, I have made some changes such as a little bit of a layout with the visual language, and I have added graphics, which is the picture of a computer desktop. And I also have added numbers and all those items with some scaling to have a better visual comprehension and translation, where the changes I have made for my first draft. For my second infographic, I have actually recorded the video while I was working on creating a SketchUp model versus when I had done it previously, where I have created a photo montage instead. I have also made some smaller pointers as far as what certain tools can do, and they are visually different than from the previous infograph. So it's pretty much just a little bit more elaborate, but as the scale and the size of the infograph itself is much smaller than on a regular screen, I attempted to do the best of my knowledge and possibilities on that infographic of its own or as by itself to make sure that I can extract the best visual images to create the necessary tools for learning. This infographic is for the 3D elementary software design tools in SketchUp. When looking at SketchUp and the processes, please take a look before you go to the second infographic to see what the guidelines and determinations are on the first infographic. When viewing SketchUp, you will see how there is a 6-foot-tall person, which is a reference to scale. When using SketchUp, you must use the architectural scale, which is being opened by double-clicking on the architectural template. Refer back to the first infographic. The Orbit tool helps to change the views within the 3D-dimensional space. The 3-dimensional space has a Y, X, and Z axis. When you go to the Shape tool, you must make sure that you know on which axis you're working on. As you can see in this video, that the axes can be drawn up on different angles. We are going to stay on the Z plane as shown in the video. You can see how many ways are available to draft. By the way, I have also added the toolbar on top of the page on this reflective analysis. Please click on the toolbar where you find the Shape tool and pick the Rectangle tool. Draw a rectangle tool onto the Z plane about the size of the person. Please select the Offset tool. Once you have selected the Offset tool, you can hover over the rectangle and you will see how it's being highlighted by a dotted pattern. This shows you that it is functioning correctly. Once you go towards the edge, it will highlight and say on edge. This is where you can click on it and draw a line. It is just like a cookie cutter. It cuts out the shape that you desire, and there are different ways to go about it, but again, this is just a basic tutorial. Once you have completed the cutout with the Offset tool, return to the Selection tool and select the Push and Pull tool. Once you have selected the push and pull tool, you will see when you hover over the object or the shape with the mouse how it is highlighting the parts of the object that you are selecting. Please select the part of the rectangle that you desire to pull, as shown here on this part of this video. Once you have selected and pulled up, you can see how it has changed. Depending on what you are selecting, you can move it horizontally, vertically, or in many directions. It is best to try it out and play with this around until you have figured out what works best for your design. The last thing I would like to mention again is that you use the Orbit tool. So now go back to the Selection tool and select the Orbit tool. The Orbit tool will help you to choose different views of angles, which will help you again in photographic selection or videos in your future projects. Thank you very much for watching this tutorial and reflective analysis. It is not a full tutorial, it is just simply a crash course in SketchUp with the basic elements of 3D design. Thank you again. Thanks for watching.